Welcome, I'm Phil Hare.
And I'm Edna Sexton. We're with Pinnacle Group Realty in Cary, North Carolina.
We're continuing our Table Talk series, and we'll be going into a multi-week video on buyer and seller perspectives in relation to money required for a real estate transaction. I hope you'll stay tuned. Many buyers and sellers in a real estate transaction want to know what is the due diligence period and what is the due diligence fee.
So in the offer to purchase and contract 2T that most realtors use in our state, it allows a buyer and seller to agree to a period of time, which is called a due diligence period, where the buyer has the right to investigate and evaluate the property to determine if they actually want to purchase it or not. During this time, the buyer has a right to terminate the offer to purchase contract for any or no reason. Now, while this is happening, the seller is standing by on hold, not taking other primary offers, waiting for the buyer to make a decision. It's technically off the market. So in order to compensate the seller, the buyer offers a non-refundable fee to take the property off the market.
So another question that comes up a lot from buyers in a real estate transaction is, do they have to offer a due diligence fee when making an offer on property?
And the answer is no. A buyer does not have to offer nor negotiate a due diligence fee. It is strictly by the agreement between the buyer and the seller as to whether a due diligence fee will be a part of the contract.
So on that, when the due diligence fee is paid, who is it paid to and when does it become due?
If a due diligence fee is negotiated as part of the contract, it is due the effective date of contract payable to the seller. The seller receives it at that time and will cash it, can spend it, but owns that money.
So how much should the due diligence fee be?
You know, that's a great question.
That's why I asked.
Good. There is no set amount. It is something that is strictly negotiated between the buyer and the seller, and it is usually based on market conditions. In a market that is favored to the seller, the negotiated fee may be higher. In a market that is buyer favored, the due diligence fee may be lower or none at all.
So what happens to the due diligence fee when the buyer closes on the property?
If the buyer and when the buyer closes on the property, the due diligence fee is credited as part of the purchase price. So the good news is that the due diligence fee is not an additional cost, but upon closing is credited.
Good answer. Thank you for watching this episode of Table Talk. We look forward to seeing you the next time. If you're a buyer and seller out there, we'd be more than happy to work with you and answer any questions you have about the information that we pass along. Additionally, follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter with the link that's listed on your screen. Thank you.